Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Beth Pop Berman, Director of the Organizational Studies Program, and I want to welcome all of you to our 21st commencement. It's wonderful to be here to celebrate this moment with our amazing students who have worked so hard to get to this day, and with all the families and friends who supported them along the way and are here to celebrate their accomplishments with them. It's always a thrill to be part of the moment of graduation, to look back on all the growth and change that's happened over the last 4 years, and to all of the excitement and opportunity that lies ahead of our students. As scholars of organizations, we know that rituals are important. They bring us together to reaffirm our values, to share emotions together, and to mark the passage of time. So I'm truly honored to take part in this event with all of you today. Organizational Studies is a unique program at the University of Michigan and provides opportunities that I really believe are unmatched. We have a world-class faculty with not only distinguished scholars, but also deeply committed to undergraduate education. We have an amazing staff who work really closely with students, and I want to especially thank Chelsea Williams for all of her work in putting together this event today. We have supportive administrators in LS&A, and we have active and engaged alumni who help to make the program what it is today. But what really distinguishes organizational studies are its students. You're so bright, so eager, so engaged, and so interested in learning having new experiences and learning new things. You're ambitious and curious and hardworking and accomplished. And you're a community. You've learned together, you've overcome challenges together, and today you graduate together. But in praising our students, I would be remiss in not also acknowledging the family and friends who have helped them to get to this point. It's the parents and grandparents and siblings and friends that got our graduates to the University of Michigan in the first place and have supported them in a myriad of ways while they've been here. So I want to extend my sincere thanks to all of you as well for your role in getting us to this day. And graduates, we hope that you will follow in the footsteps of those who came before you and be there when it's time for another generation of OS students to be looking to alumni for help and support. Again, our connections to our alums are part of what makes the program distinctive and special and makes it work so well. And we really hope that you will be our next generation of committed and participating alums. So I would like to take a moment now and introduce our graduation speaker today. Each year, the graduating class selects who their commencement speaker will be. Some years it's a public figure, some years it's a prominent OS alum, but today it's one of our own. Steve Samford is a political scientist and a professor in organizational studies who researches technological innovation in the developing world. Raised in New Mexico, he joined OS in 2017, where he quickly became an indispensable part of the program. Just to give you an example of Steve's commitment to the program, in 2020, he took an entire class of students to Costa Rica in order so that they could participate in research and learn about small coffee growers and help them think about how to optimize their organizational forms. Steve plays a particularly critical role in OS as the primary instructor for OS 310, formal organizations and environments. So this is one of the two classes that all juniors take together in their first semester in the program. And so it's really important not only in terms of its content, but also in terms of bringing students together and sort of creating a cohort and creating a community experience. And so with an entire universe of people to choose from, this year's class said, and I quote, "Steve's been an excellent mentor and professor to all our cohort in OS 310, some of our cohort in the OS 440 elective course, and to many students in career searching. His dedication to his students, professionalism and compassion are clear through his work and persona. We believe his connection to our cohort makes him the best candidate to speak at our graduation." So please join me in welcoming Professor Steve Samford.
Wow, thank you. OS graduates and families and friends, first and foremost,
My sincere congratulations to all. OS students, I'm particularly proud of you all. As Professor Berman said, I've had you all in class, some of you in 2 classes, an unlucky few in 3 classes. And I know the whole OS program shares my sense of pride in your accomplishments and in your perseverance. You know, this has not been the easiest 4 years in history. And in the next days and weeks, I hope you can revel in your accomplishments and the sense of excitement about what comes next. I think it's also possible that in addition to feeling excitement, some of you may feel a little anxious. I hope she doesn't mind my paraphrasing her, but someone in your cohort last week said to me, I feel like we've been in school thinking critically and asking all sorts of questions, and now we're getting shuffled into jobs, and they don't necessarily want us to do that. There's no doubt in my mind that you are all really well prepared for the professional world. You know, I've seen your professional headshots that Chelsea took. I've seen your LinkedIn's and your resumes, and you know, truly they're remarkable. But I sometimes worry that we maybe contribute to pointing you a little bit too much. So let me explain what I mean by that. Or try to explain. Some of you took the technological innovation course I teach. If so, you might recall an economic historian named Paul David, who wrote a paper called Clio and the Economics of QWERTY. Paul David writes about why we use the QWERTY keyboard, that standard arrangement of keys, you know, with the QEVRTY from left to right. So why do we use this even though it's demonstrably slower, it's demonstrably less efficient? His answer to that is that it's a consequence of a path-dependent process. So he writes, a path-dependent sequence of changes is one where important influences upon the eventual outcome can be exerted by long ago events, including events dominated by chance or by historical accidents. So the idea is that there are times of openness and contingency. And during these times, small events, often random events, may come to define future outcomes in substantial ways, often unintended outcomes and sometimes unwanted outcomes. So a choice is made or an event occurs and a positive feedbacks generate incentives to continue down the particular path that event introduced. So 150 years ago, when the typewriter was being developed, multiple keyboard arrangements competed with one another, right? Some were alphabetical, some had strategic keys in certain places. And by historical accident related to the mechanics of how typewriters worked at that point, someone arranged the keyboard as we know it, and it stuck. It stuck through electric typewriters. It stuck through the emergence of computers and laptops and PCs, and now you all text on a QWERTY keyboard. Why? Because we're on a path, right? We're on a path where it's easier for us as a society to continue to train people to use the QWERTY keyboard, to use the QWERTY keyboards that we have, and to continue to produce the keyboards that people already know how to use. So Paul David, this economic historian, jokes that this is a history in which, in his words, one damn thing follows another. And you can think of a lot of things in society that are like that, right? That we do one damn thing after another, following a path because that's where the least resistance is. So now you're asking, what does a QWERTY keyboard have to do with you graduating? And that's a fair question. And the answer I'm going to give you is that conceptually, these ideas of contingency and path dependence are relevant to individual lives as well. And it's because you, as graduates, are about to enter a period of high contingency when there are the potential beginnings of multiple paths. In fact, for most of you, the next few years will be the most open and the most contingent period of your lives. And my hope for you is that you're able to keep that window of contingency open, to hold it open for long enough to not get shunted down a path unintentionally or blindly. So keeping that window open will look different for each of you. I can only speak from my own personal experience, but it took me a lot of miles to sort things out. Between the time I graduated from college and went back to graduate school, I lived for years. I worked and volunteered in 4 different countries. I casted around. I taught GED courses in a penitentiary. On a lark, I took a job in Central America where I unintentionally ended up teaching the children of the landed oligarchy. I moved to South America on another lark and taught there. I volunteered building houses for impoverished families in the countryside, little more than cinder block cubes with dirt floors. I worked in an orphanage in Ecuador where a 3-year-old always called me mommy. Admittedly, plenty of what I did during this time was ill-advised or dangerous, hitchhiking, getting stranded in the Amazon basin at night, dealing with corrupt officials, riding in trucks with farm animals. So looking back, it's not a time that that I had any outward hallmarks of success. I wasn't earning a degree. I wasn't advancing professionally. I certainly wasn't getting rich or accumulating material goods. But it was a time that I needed and that I deeply appreciate for what I was able to do and see. It was a window of contingency that helped me figure out the parameters of who I was, where I wanted to be headed, what path, not just professionally, but also ethically and morally, and as a person navigating a world with 8 billion other people in it. But just so we're clear, and so your families can hear me say that, I'm not encouraging you to do stupid things or to go to dangerous places. Not necessarily, anyway. I'm encouraging you to understand the next few years as some of the most open, the freest, and the most contingent of your lives. And I'm encouraging you to embrace that, to keep thinking critically, to keep asking all sorts of questions, even if no one wants you to, and maybe especially if no one wants you to. So I'm encouraging you to not sweat the professionalism too much, to travel meaningfully, to explore and get lost, to make mistakes, talk to strangers, work in weird jobs, quit organizations that don't value you and find others that do, and be patient. Keep pushing that window of contingency and openness until you feel right about the path that you see yourself being led down. Because at a certain point, and probably the older people in here will agree with me, at a certain point, you'll know that that window is closing. You'll have a partner or kids, or maybe a mortgage. You'll get a furniture or a pet. A job with a title, right? You'll be on a path with positive feedbacks, and it'll be harder and harder to think about getting off that path, right? You'll be in a life history in which, as Paul David said, one damn thing is following another. And when one damn thing starts following another, you want it to be the right damn thing. You don't want to be stuck with the life equivalent of the QWERTY keyboard, accepted just because. So these next few years are a time when finding those things out is possible. And I hope you're able to take advantage of that. And I hope that I as a professor and we as a program have helped equip you not only with the ability to think critically and to ask tough questions about what's around you, but also the inclination and the motivation to do so, as well as the confidence in yourselves to act upon the answers that you find. So thank you. It's been a real delight to work with you all for the last 2 years. And my sincere congratulations to you all and your families. Before I leave the podium, I have the additional honor of welcoming our student speaker, Kayla Zhang. I've gotten to know Kayla in a variety of formats over the last couple of years. As a student, as you all were in OS 310, Formal Organizations and Environments, and my course on organizations in the developing world. Also as a reader of her honors thesis, and also in my role as on the university's Fulbright Selection Committee. So Kayla's been deeply engaged in the OS program and across campus. In OS, in addition to her work in the classroom, the past year she was a member of the OS Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee and the OS student recruitment team. Kayla's DEI and anti-racism work spans across other activities on campus. She worked on the Virulent Hate Project in the Department of American Culture, which was an initiative that studies anti-Asian racism during the COVID-19 pandemic. And as a co-editor-in-chief of the Michigan Journal of Political Science, a student publication, she has researched and written articles with university faculty on racial and ethnic politics. As an indicator of Kayla's bright future as a scholar, she already has a joint publication with U of M professor Melissa Borja related to Christian responses to anti-Asian racism during the pandemic. And this summer, Kayla will be starting a pre-doctoral fellowship at Harvard Business School, researching organizational responses to social change. And for the fall, Kayla was awarded a Fulbright Fellowship to Dusseldorf, Germany, where she'll be doing her own research on labor and industrial relations. And her longer term goals include attending graduate school to study the future of work. Please join me in welcoming our student speaker, Kayla Zhang.
Thank you, Professor Sanford, for that wonderful introduction. Good afternoon to my OS graduates, professors, staff, family, and friends. It is an honor to be this year's Organizational Studies student speaker. So like many of those in my generation, when I am lacking inspiration, I take to social media. And in this case, I looked in the direction of our beautiful OS Instagram, managed this past year by the lovely Skylar Wolf. A first glance of our OS Instagram, and you will see many smiling faces representing the amazing students, faculty, staff, student groups, and our supportive pets. Because when people ask me what the best part of OS is, I often respond with the people. In the last 2 years, I've had the greatest privilege to learn alongside this community of scholars. And as we nervously wrote our pathways as young admits, to now hearing all the exciting things we are embarking on after graduation, I marvel at the intellectual diversity of this class. Some of you here today might still be wondering, what is organizational studies? And our academic interests transcend beyond the foundation of OS's 3 core disciplines: sociology, psychology, and economics. But I believe that all of us are driven to solve problems and do the work. We learn these fundamental values in our core classes. In 305, Inside Organizations with Professor Nick Camp, we explored the scientific study of human feeling, thinking, behavior, judgment, and diversity, to name a few. In 310, Formal Organizations and Environments with Professor Steve Sanford, we learned about the multi-layered nature of organizations, from studying Max Weber's bureaucracy to social network theory. We got to complete a group project during the organizations fair, examining a single organization's structure, mission, and values. It was during this group project that I met my now roommate and friend, Maura Cummings, and I have OS in 310 to thank for that. However, before we even entered the classroom, our cohort met on Zoom in virtual orientation. We were still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, and thus faced with a greater set of challenges than during a normal year. When we first met in person, our faces were half covered. We passed around microphones to accommodate a COVID-conscious classroom. I believe that going to college and starting OS in the middle of a pandemic had a positive effect on us. We became kinder, grasping a better understanding and intelligence of how to be culturally aware. We had to learn what other people feel comfortable with to make each other feel welcome and accepted. And that empathy is reflected in our OS home on the 8th floor of Weiser, which has become a haven for me, especially in these past few months when I've tried to finish the last few pages of my honors thesis. Organizational studies has been the pinnacle of my college experience. OS helped to make Michigan feel smaller, allowing me to invest in personal connections. And in my final year, I've gone to be a part of the student leadership team. These experiences have given me the opportunity to see firsthand how much work goes into running our small but mighty department. I want to express my appreciation for the OS administration, who put in so much time and passion to keep this program the wonderful academic unit that it is. You all give so much, and your giving is contagious. You've cultivated an environment of happiness, motivation, and intellectual curiosity that permeates across the OS faculty and students. Thank you to my OS professors Going to office hours with each of you has provided me some of the most insightful conversations and inspired me to follow in your professional footsteps. Lastly, thank you to my OS cohort. You should all be proud of your achievements. Getting into the major was an accomplishment in itself. Hopefully, OS helps you get to wherever you want to go. And in the words of my idol, Adam Grant, and as quoted on our advisor, Kathy Philbin's door, big career decisions don't come with the map, but all you need is a compass. In an unpredictable world, you can't make a master plan. You can only gauge whether you're on a meaningful path. So I hope you treasure the person you've become while in OS, and always reflect on the values and lessons that you hold intact. Channel your growth mindset. Take care of yourselves. And forever, go blue. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Fine, and I am the Honors Coordinator for Organizational Studies. And one thing that Kayla briefly alluded to in her speech is that she is graduating with honors from Organizational Studies. So over the course of this past year, Kayla has worked tirelessly, immersing herself in dense theoretical literatures, collecting and analyzing primary data, all to be able to prepare an extraordinarily impressive honors thesis. So please join me in giving Kayla a great round of applause for her accomplishment.
Hopefully this will work. Hopefully it'll stay. Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa El Jamal, and I'm the Chief Administrator in Organizational Studies. I'd like to join Director Pop Berman and Professor Sanford in congratulating you all on your graduation today. I hope that this past week has been memorable for all of you as you battled through your last exams and papers, celebrated with friends, and stepped across campus in your final days as U of M graduates, undergraduates. Before we begin the awards portion of the ceremony, I would like to take a moment to recognize two student teams who helped make this year the closest to a normal year in an almost post-pandemic world. First, our student leadership team, who work closely with OS staff to support various aspects of our student-facing work. Would each of you rise and stay standing as I announce your name until I have recognized all your peers? Those individuals were Megan Dixon and Riley List, our peer mentors. Our recruitment team, Mary Ellen Mack and Kayla Zhang. Our event planners, Lauren Benitez and Maura Cummings. Social media coordinator, Skylar Wolf. And our DEI teams of Raven Brantley, Samara Kamal, Kashmira Reddy, and Kayla Zhang. You may be seated. I'd also like to give a special thanks to this year's graduation committee. Maura and Lauren, would you stand up again? This dynamic duo brought all their event planning expertise from the entire year to new heights in orchestrating events for this entire week. Thank you both for your thoughtful contributions to planning our graduation program and for a top-rate senior send-off week featuring a new scavenger hunt that was a huge hit. And check out our OS Instagram for pictures. I would also like to thank my colleagues Tanya Dietz and Chelsea Williams for leading the graduation committee to ensure a memorable conclusion to our OSers academic experience. Thank you. So finally, I have the honor of introducing the Lansing Leader Scholar Award, which is the most prestigious award in organizational studies. The Lansing Leader Scholar Award honors an OS senior who demonstrates academic excellence in the classroom and leadership qualities in the OS program and the broader U of M community. The Lansing Leader Scholar serves as a model organizational studies student in the pursuit of knowledge in organizations, as well as in the application of that knowledge in the real world. This award was made possible through the generous gift of Andy and Ellen Lansing of Chicago. Andy was one of the founding members of the Organizational Studies Leadership Committee, and he's also served on the College of Literature, Science, and Arts Dean's Advisory Council. This year's Andy and Ellen Lansing Leader Scholarship Award winner is Riley List. Riley, come on up. Okay, in addition to being an excellent academic performer overall and a fabulous peer advisor in OS, Riley followed his passion for environmental sustainability and justice in his OS pathway. In his words, I believe in securing equal access to environmental resources, regardless of political or economic status. Riley was a collective impact coordinator at the Graham Sustainability Institute, and developed and implemented a workshop series and volunteer projects that fostered relationship building and promoted sustainability engagement at the U of M. In his role as Sustainability Committee Chair of LS&A Student Government, he served as a representative to Michigan Dining and spearheaded investment in sustainable local food initiatives. He was also a residential advisor in U of M housing and an orientation leader for newly admitted students. And he served as an English language tutor for Washtenaw literacy. After graduating from the University of Michigan, Riley will work as an analyst at Ally Financial in Detroit, Michigan. In the near future, he looks forward to attending law school and pursuing a career in the legal profession. Please join me in congratulating Riley.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea Williams, and I am the Events and Communications Coordinator for OS. It is my honor to introduce the Jordan Harris Social Justice Award. Jordan Harris was a member of the OS class of 2012. Her interests in the collaborative partnerships between organizations for the public good prompted her to explore the Detroit grassroots urban farming movement. This cash award, created in memory of Jordan, is given to a graduating OS senior whose activities suggest the potential to make a significant contribution to the pursuit of social justice. I am pleased to announce this year's Jordan Harris Social Justice Award has two winners, Maura Cummings and Jamie Lopez Garcia. Would you please? Would you please join me for a moment while I share with the group a bit about why you won this award? So Jamie isn't here with us today, but I'm going to read a little bit about her. Jamie is a double major in sociology and OS with minors in education for empowerment and community action and social change. Her pathway focuses on educational outreach in urban settings through nonprofits. Outside of OS, Jamie has been involved with La Casa, the Central Latinx student organization on campus. She has served as a community director and undergraduate advisor for the past several years, ensuring that the next leadership of the organization feels knowledgeable and supported as they transition to leading an organization with over 600 members, 8+ signature annual events, and regular mass meetings. She is a college access and success ambassador with the Center for Educational Outreach and works as the programming lead for the ALMA program under Multi-Ethnic Student Affairs. She is also a diversity peer educator in UM housing and a programming assistant at Trotter. She aspires to become a higher education professional to continue to engage in the work of promoting equitable outcomes for all students. So now I'll read a little bit about Maura. Maura is pursuing OS and a minor in community action and social change. Her pathway is empowering individuals through human-centered collaborative and positive practices in nonprofit and policy settings to enact social change. Maura has been running after-school programs through the Community Action Network of Ann Arbor for the past 2 years. She was part of the Detroit Partnership Planning Team, providing in-person and virtual opportunities to engage with the Detroit community. She is a counselor and PR coordinator for Camp Kesem, a student group to support children whose parents have cancer. She is a resident participant in the Michigan Community Scholars Program, participating in intergroup dialogues and completing coursework based in social justice values. She participated in a Ginsberg Center alternative spring break to Chicago's Albany Park and worked with the Asian Youth Services nonprofit tutoring K-12 students and helping administration bolster fundraising. After graduation, she plans to join Teach for America and continue her passions for social justice through education. I was honored to get to know Maura a little bit more this semester, and I am so proud of her and all your accomplishments. Congratulations, Jamie and Maura, on being named this year's Jordan Harris Social Justice Award winners. We look forward to celebrating your future accomplishments in the social justice arena.
Chelsea, don't run away. My name is Tanya Dietz, and I am the Executive Assistant in Organizational Studies. It is my honor to introduce the next award, the Suzanne M. Jones OS Spirit Award, honors former OS Administrator Suzanne Jones. Suzanne was particularly dedicated to the area of student services and the development of a close-knit OS community. Nominations for this award come from across OS, including faculty, staff, and students, and the final winner is determined by a vote from that same broad OS community. This year's winner is our own Chelsea Williams. Chelsea has been with the OS program since 2018, overseeing the unit's social media and web communications, designing posters to get everyone excited about our new courses, giving free photo shoots for students and faculty wishing to have a professional headshot. She also oversees the student events team, helping guide them and make recommendations as they plan events to develop a closer cohort. Finally, she is the driver behind much of the organization of Senior Week and the graduation ceremonies, which was no easy feat during the pandemic. Her virtual graduation ceremony was the only one of its kind in 2020, carefully orchestrated to make sure that despite isolating on campus or at home, students felt individually honored at their graduation. She approaches all of her work with an energetic spirit that is contagious to all who work around her. According to Chelsea's nominator, Chelsea goes above and beyond to build a close-knit OS community. Her creative ideas and follow-through have consistently resonated so well with the OS student community. She has created traditions that will last the test of time for OS students. Senior send-off, senior yearbook, collaborative events with the Barger Leadership Institute and the Black Student Union. Please join me in congratulating our dear colleague, Chelsea Williams. Sorry, Melissa, I need your help up here. Oh, yes, the graduates, Brian.
Great. All right, greetings, everyone, graduates, family, and friends. My name is Nick Camp. I'm a professor here in organizational studies, and we're now ready to move on to the final part of our program. But first, to our graduates, let me just say that you're all graduating, so we hope that you look to today not as an end to your time in the program, but as a shift from students to alumni. I know many of you had firsthand experience with what a tremendous resource our alumni network can be, so we hope that you stay in touch with us. So the first thing you can do is complete the graduate exit survey that Kathy Philbin recently sent you. There's a footnote here underlined, she will hunt you down. We also have a Org Studies group on LinkedIn that you can join. And of course, we're always happy to get phone calls, emails, or visits. So we do hope that you'll stay connected to the program so that future generations of OS students can benefit from your wisdom and your experience as alumni. Okay, so now to the fun part, the presentation of the graduates. But first, final assignment, just a little bit of logistical review. Graduates, Brian will be to your left to signal you when your row should rise and line up near the wall. Then I'll call out your names individually. You'll walk across the stage to receive congratulations from our director, Professor Berman, and your OS graduation certificate from Tanya. After you process, rather than returning to your seat, we'd like you to just hang out along the far wall over there. And when the last graduate processes across the stage, I'll invite all the graduates back on the stage. Tall folks in back, shorter folks in the front for a final group photo. So parents, please hold off on your photos until we have our official photographer has a chance to take a few formal pictures. And then we ask the graduates to stay on the stage for a few moments so that your parents can have their photo opportunity. That'll be the end of our formal graduation ceremony. And we hope that you'll join us immediately following for the reception right across the hall in the conference room. We'll have some refreshments, and then you'll have plenty of time for more photo ops and some refreshments. So without further ado, let me announce the OS graduating class of 2023. Kayla Jean. Maura Cummings. Lauren Benitez. Riley List. Lucia Perone. Mary Ellen Mack. I think I have these out of order. Dominic Gaines. Kristen Yee. Bridget Swayze. Mia King. Mariah Evans. McKenna Torrey. Sophia Gadgis. Megan Dixon. Celia Pegnuco. Christopher Kolb. Daniel Cohen. Kobe Friedland. Alexa Gallant. Gabrielle Lewis. Ian Ressler. Amelia Berry. Holly Smith. Mackenzie Nitz. Emily Weaver. Ella Cantor. Julia Rubin. Hannah Shipley. Megan Pendergast. Skylar Wolf. Olivia Stein. Sophia Garcia. Lainey Venling. Raven Brantley. Aurelia Alvarez. Marianne Pantoya. Mark Johnson. Lindsay Houghton. Esther Park. Haley Elders. Madeline Epstein. Lauren Orrs. Omar Femi. Kashmira Reddy. Cole Wolfield. Runlin Wong. Ali Weingarten. And Samara Kamal.
Roll a little happier. 2, 3, hold that. One more.
Still burn. Last one. Don't move. Hold for parents pictures.